Hello, I am the chosen one and I am on site at the Sandbox Interactive Studios here in Berlin. And I have the great pleasure of once again interviewing my friend Raoul, who is now the head of the UI team here at Sandbox Interactive.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for interviewing me.
The UI update is phenomenal. This is a massive thing that the players have requested for years. And can you tell us a little bit about how that came about? I know you mentioned that, last time we were talking about how mobile was being developed. I heard a couple of whispers that mobile might have been involved in this.
We have the honor that our mobile team, two guys actually, Mark and Connor, they are always on this edge of the UX, what we are developing. They're always trying out new things, trying to really push the limits of what we are doing. Also just sometimes sitting back and saying like, does this need to be that way or could we just improve it? And for the better part of over a year, they were tinkering up this HUD editor, actually for the mobile players, because on mobile, of course, you have a limited screen, right? Mm-hmm. They're used to editing this, especially for super complex games like we are having it. I have to admit, from the UI side, it always seemed a bit like unmanageable. And he said like, nah, that is doable. I'm gonna show you a prototype. We looked at it and said like, that's not only for mobile, we can also deliver this for desktop. So we threw in another designer. We pulled in I got 2 new junior developers. So basically then 3 coders, 2 designers, and me as a
team lead.
That's trying to coordinate this a bit. Yes, it was a lot. And it was a bit weird, right? Because it's not super marketable, but at the same time, for all our established players, this is like the thing. So we wanted to make this as good as possible, while at the same time not conflict with anything else that was happening in Foundations for more the newer players and also the content players.
One of the specific things that I find really like low key on this UI is that you can save it and export it and allow somebody else to take your UI and then use that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what players do. And how did that happen? How did it get to where everybody could do their individual one to being something that can be shareable?
This also came from iterations, right? Like we worked on this for so long that you sit down and you're like, yeah, can I just test your design? You're like, no, you cannot. And we're like, but people will or players will face the same issue. So let's make it exportable. Have the quick presets. Also, like, do we include this in there or not? How do we do this? And then in the end, we decide like, you know what? Let's pull it all together. Quick presets. You can change your graphic settings. You can change your HUD layout if you want. And now we can have like beautiful island landscapes with like no UIs or like the very minimal UI for ZVZ and with like reduced graphic settings and things like that. And this kind of like it started out as ideas that were like, yeah, we should do this, but how do we pull this together into like an actual reasonable update? And then at some point the dots were connected and I feel it came out so good.
I think that the amount of change that you allow players to do now is very impactful. I've seen incredibly different UIs out there for everybody. Like they're making like curved ones, wrapping around their character, like completely just void of anything on the screen. People moving the map everywhere. I saw somebody who had the map right above their head. I'm like, how do you even play like that? But you guys gave them the freedom. You didn't say you can put your map in this little box over here on the corner. You said, do what you want. Anchor it where you want it to be. Change the size, change the opacity. On that note, is there anything specific that you've seen so far that you might want to already go back and revisit in the future?
For us currently, the HUD editor is very much in a place where we say like, let them try it out, gather feedback, gather also errors, bugs, things that happen, right? I know that people would want to be able to click through their spell buttons because they just need to see the cooldown and they don't need to click it. They have shortcuts. I get you guys. I know that this is a thing. But at the same time, we had this huge update, so we wanted to focus on what we can actually deliver, not overextend ourselves. There's always be another update. It's an iterative process very much.
One of the big changes to this that's not necessarily always thought of as UI from the player's perspective is the huge changes that came to the inventory, like the paper doll, the chest tracking. There's so much new stuff in this. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that and how that came about.
We talked a bit earlier about the feedback from players, right? And while it might not be super obvious how we do this, we have our community managers, we have the forums, I stalk a lot of YouTube comments and Reddit comments. So whenever we see things there, I usually take some notes. If I need the resources, I also need to make sure this has its right spot and place in any update that we're producing. And the inventory was at this place where I said like, okay, I have a bunch of small features that all together actually make a nice overhaul.
The thing in the inventory that impacts me the most is the shrinking of the paper doll.
Oh yeah, true.
Like just being able to drop that guy down and be able to see my entire inventory is huge.
I mean, we had this like Da Vinci style doll there before, right? Which is very much into the RPG style. Of course, you see a doll and you put all the, like you dress your doll, so to say. But in all honesty, if you're a hardcore player, you know where your slots are, right? They have the icons, you throw them in. You can even throw them on a different slot. They will just move in the right slot, no problem. So we said like, yeah, that could even be reduced. So you have more space for your inventory. A dream that I still have is I want to have this Jeff Goldblum style, like lying.
Oh, so when it goes to the short one? Oh my God, that would be so hilarious.
I would love that. Didn't got the art resources yet for that, but maybe at some point in the future. For now, we have those little icons in there, which work very well.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit about what the players can expect in the future? You don't have to go too in depth or too specific, but there's some things, I know you've been talking.
Yeah.
You got some ideas.
Another thing we are designing currently is something that is also, I think, something players have been asked for a long time. Something of a viewing your items in your banks, but remotely.
Yes.
So that you can kind of get this overview on like, where's my mammoth? Where's all my stone? Where did I leave my carrot soup? Nah, probably not this one, but...
No, well, I will be able to find my legendary Oxmount skin, wherever that is. I know it's out there somewhere in the world of Albion. I don't know what box it's in, and it's been many years since I've been able to find that guy, so I'm looking forward to this update. But I think that we've covered a lot today. This was a great interview, and thank you very much for your time and for this week. I've had a lovely time hanging out with you and the rest of the team here at SBI, so thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
We'll be back again soon with more interviews.